Hello, I'm Mariella and I'm giving out my informative speech and it's all about service animals. So, what are service animals? Service animals are animals that are trained to perform a certain task or perform a certain work for people who have a disability. Under the ADA, service animals are allowed to go to public places such as restaurants, let's say hotels, anywhere, stores, but not necessarily houses because they're not public places. In the beginning of March 15th, 2011, dogs were not considered service animals until that date, which was changed under Titles 2 and 3 of the ADA. A service dog is a dog that is individually trained to perform a work-specific task for someone who has a disability. For instance, if you are blind, you would need a service dog to help you lead or guide you where you need to go. Or someone who has, let's just say, heart problems. They can let you know when something's about to happen. That is, or so also people with PTSD. That is another common reason why people have service dogs. They use them as calming effects. People who have service dogs are supposed to have the dog under control. If they do not have the dog under control, then the owner of the place, under law, is allowed to kick them out. One of the things that you need to realize about service dogs is that they are trained. They are supposed to be potty trained. They're supposed to not bark. They're not supposed to be aggressive in any sort of way. So if a dog is like that and the handler doesn't quickly correct it or the dog is just ignoring it, that animal is probably not a service animal or a service dog, more specifically. And when people have service animals that aren't service animals, that is a violation and they could be seriously charged as a fake service animal. Now, whenever you walk into an establishment as a owner of a service dog, the people there are only allowed to ask you two questions. One is the dog a service animal required because of disability? The next one is, what work or task is the dog trained to do? One of the things that I like to point out is that those two questions do not involve you needing to give out your personal information, such as what your disability is. Now, sometimes it's easy for establishments to see what your disability is, like for instance, if you're in a wheelchair, or maybe they can notice that you are blind. If someone doesn't look like they don't have a disability, do not consider them as a person with a fake service dog. Just because you can't see a person with a disability doesn't mean that they are faking it. It could be something internal like PTSD, something with heart problems. It could be stuff like that. Now, in the beginning, I said we're talking about service animals. Why didn't I just say service dogs? Well, under the ADA, not only are service animals service dogs, but there can also be service miniature horses. It is very thin along the line about miniature horses being service animals, but there are general rules such as the horse has to be potty trained. The horse, of course, needs to be under the owner's control. They need to be a certain type, size, and weight. For instance, the height has to be 24 to 34 inches from shoulder to shoulder, and they have to weigh between 70 to 100 pounds. And lastly, it depends on whether the facility can accommodate for the miniature horse. Now, people are they are a bit worried about service dogs because they are afraid that the dog can possibly bite them, They are afraid that allergies, for instance, those are reasons not to have a service dog, and therefore they believe that that can kick them out. It is in the facilities right to, well, not in the facilities right, it is in the owner's right to be there, and the facility cannot kick them out because of those reasons. Therefore, they need to accommodate either the owner or they need to accommodate the people who are having a problem. For instance, if someone in a restaurant was allergic to dogs, they will probably have the person who has the service animal moved over to a different corner because, the person who was there in the restaurant was there first, not the person with the service dog. Now, it is required, it is not required that staff needs to provide any food or water for the service animal, but majority of the people are nice about it. They understand, and they give your dog water. It's okay. But the owner must not give food to the person, not the person. The owner must not give food to the dog, like feeding a dog, like a pet dog. They must not feed them human food. And with that is basically all the information about service animals. So just make sure to remember that service animals can be taken to public, unlike therapy dogs and unlike emotional support animals. So, if you see a service animal that is unruly, that is aggressive, that is not a service animal. Service animals are polite dogs or horses, and they are usually well represented by their owner. Thank you.